To all my trainers, what if I were to tell you that I could take your fragmented training hustle and turn it into a thriving business with just 3 tips and in under 60 seconds? Let's get into it.
In the very beginning, when I got in the gym business, I thought the gym business was about results. I thought it was about results, and I thought it was about like killer workouts. And it was really about neither of those things. The gym business is actually about sales and marketing. And so I got into it because I was like, I'm passionate about fitness and I'm passionate about getting people results. But what actually drove the business economics was sales and marketing. The big problem is that with gyms, as you might imagine, a lot of people don't actually like going to the gym. Like, it has inherent difficulties. The good news in the gym business is that everybody wants to get in better shape. And so you have this massive market, but people tend to churn out of gyms. Even the very low cost gyms, like a lot of people have this misbelief that they think like, oh, well, Planet Fitness or Crunch Fitness is $10 a month. So of course no one cancels, but they actually have 5 or 6% monthly churn. They just have a ton of people who sign up every month as well. And so the key that I didn't know is that the businesses that are the biggest in the fitness space, and this is when I got into it, was actually just marketing and sales machines. They know how to train sales, they know how to recruit for sales, they know how to market on a number of different channels to get customers in the door. And so once I learned that, I started growing my gyms, and I started realizing that was the business I was really in.
When you transfer this to the training business, it's all about knowing what problem you solve, knowing what solution and who you're targeting. And the third thing is how to replicate this and turn it into an operation. And that operation happens because you got the 3 components. When you transfer this to the training field, you're not just a trainer, you're the CEO of a training business. So if you're ready to build your assets, you got to have all 3 components.
Working for someone else, you don't realize how sheltered you are from the exhausting work of planning, the stress of risk, and the constant burden of carrying others' problems on your shoulders. When I found my first mentor, I thought he would give me a secret marketing tip or some kind of silver bullet to make more money. He didn't. Instead, we started our conversation with systems. He said, "Chris, what happens if you get hit by a bus?" I thought about it. The business would close, I eventually said. "What would happen to your staff?" he asked. They'd probably have to find other jobs, probably in another industry." "And what would happen to your clients?" "I guess they'd find other trainers, but those other trainers wouldn't be as good as we are." He leaned in. He wanted me to know he took the next question seriously. What would happen to your family? I couldn't imagine. My wife would have to find a job, I guess. My daughter would go into daycare or get shuffled between relatives during the day. We'd probably have to sell our house, and the insurance money we'd receive wouldn't cover the cost of my funeral. My mentor painted a very dire picture of the worst case scenario. Still, a less dramatic accident could have had the same effect. I was very lucky and pretty dumb to be able to keep all of my appointments with a back injury that day. I'd come very close. Missing a day of work would have put my paycheck in jeopardy. A 48-hour flu could have been fatal for my business. I kept trudging forward because I couldn't afford to take a single step backward. The problem was I wasn't really going anywhere. So my mentor said, "Let's make sure you're worth more alive than dead to start." Because he knew it. I couldn't keep pulling this train forever. Merely showing up and delivering my coaching every day took all of my time and energy. Before I could work on marketing or sales or the other things that scaling demands, I needed to make my business run without me.
Once you get over that celebration and that honeymoon, then you realize I have to actually pay the bills.
Make these small changes and you're gonna start making a lot more money. Get This is your profile edit. I actually love your profile photo. I would recommend removing the background so that you stand out more. And I would add a color like yellow, blue, or red. Your name here is fine. Put keyword-rich terms in your name though. That way when people search fat loss, your name comes up. Helping men and women to reach their fitness potential over 12 years, I hate. Be more specific with who exactly you wanna help. When we speak to everybody, we speak to nobody, because when people come to your social media profile, they want to know if this profile is for them. You would be more successful if you said, I help men and women lose 20 plus pounds of body fat without restrictive dieting. Finally, take the link tree out of your f***ing bio. If there's more than one option, people will click away. This should be a client application for your coaching program. Testimonial highlight I like, class schedule I don't like, because if you want to start online coaching, this should be coaching programs. Cooking I like, motivation I like. Overall, I'd give you 4 to 10. Make these small changes and you're going to start making a lot more money.
This is where it gets tricky, because the people that are getting certified are not learning how to turn this into a business. They simply learn how to train people. And a lot of people see me as someone who's a professional in the sport for 4 decades. But I thought that I could lend my expertise in the world of business and teach you all the things that you've been missing, so that it's clear when you're going into the training business that you can now get yourself to the next level. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take a deep dive and teach you guys what goes inside of a successful training career. And I can basically give you the roadmap that I use to get myself to that point where I was able to make 7 figures online and 7 figures in the gym. It's not rocket science.
What are business systems? Business systems are clear instructions that allow your team to operate your business as if you were there even when you're not. Business systems mean that you do things the same way every time. For example, you charge the same rates, and those rates are written down. You run your classes the same way, and that process is written down. You educate your coaches to the same level, and that process and that level are written down. You have a plan for client onboarding, for client sales, and for client retention, and all of your coaches know those plans. These plans are all written down. If staff people don't know the answer to a question, they know where to find it without calling you. The best of systematic excellence is you are entirely replaceable in your business, at least for as long as you want to be. Because if your business requires you to show up every day, be available to staff and clients at all times, and never get sick, never take a vacation, then you don't own a business. It owns you. Consistency is more important than anything else.
The fastest growing investment we're making across every sector we're involved in every case, is content generation for social media. Without that, right, you don't have a business, because that's how you acquire customers. So if you look at all my hires lately, I'm trying to find men and women that know how to shoot content, tell stories, edit content, manage platforms like TikTok, like Instagram, like Facebook, like X, like LinkedIn. These are all different platforms. Yeah. I have millions of followers on those platforms, and they're expecting content every day. And I want to support my mandates, support my narrative, support my companies. So this is our biggest operating cost and fastest growing. And throw on top of that AI, our new AI lab in Abu Dhabi, where we generate a lot of this content. We're really focusing on the future of content generation.
People take you seriously whenever you're doing this. So you got to take yourself seriously. So one of the things that I learned, if I wanted to get people to me, I had to let them know, what is it that I did? And I remember a good client of mine. He was a very successful man, and he asked me, I got a question for you. I know how good you are, and I know what you do, but how do you let them know? And I never thought about it. How do I let more people know about myself and the talents?
People don't really realize what it takes to win. There's a great quote. Don Simpson, who was one of the original producers of the first Bad Boys. We saw a screen and it was really good. I said, it's good. It's at about 90%. And he said, the great thing about being at 90% is at least you're halfway there. And that has turned out to be so true. The difference between 90% and 100% is lifetimes of difference. The difference between a good player and a great player is light years. My son was a chronic B student, and he was like, Dad, it's just, I really could get A's, if I wanted to. And I was like, I promise you can.
Believe in yourself.
You think that the difference between a B and an A is the same as the difference between a C and a B. It's not. It's not. That is such a hard thing to communicate to people, and it's even more difficult when people are talented. When people get a B easy.
They think they got it.
They think they got it. And it's like the level of sharpness and discipline that it takes to get to the heights that you dream of is really simple. It's just not easy.
Now, I was very vested in taking people and giving them an experience so that the minute they finished, that they would say, that was the greatest session I ever had. So I don't know if any of you ever, if your focus is to grow your business in the training industry, then this is the perfect video for you. We help former fighters or current fighters who want to become trainers monetize their careers and show them exactly how to get directly into the six-figure lane. We take what you do as a trainer and we craft it and turn it into a business asset. And the asset is something that not only makes money when you're working with people, but it makes money for you when you're asleep. 3 components that it takes. It takes the programming, it takes the targeting, who it is you do this for, and the third thing, how to replicate all of this and turn it into a business operation so that you're not just a trainer anymore, but you're the operator of a training business. If you're interested in learning how to scale yourself, continue to follow for more. And by the way, if you wanted to know exactly how to join our community of coaches that show you exactly how to grow your training business and work with your athletes, then it's really easy. You basically go up to our website, jabjuice.com, and schedule a call, or type the word school. It's a pleasure to help you reach the highest level of boxing. So long.